This is, I don't know. This is one of those like race stories where you just sit and you start getting goosebumps.
Shakur beat him out of the initial start. The kid caught him and was visibly in front of him mid-race. Shakur ran him down at the end. It was intense enough that I called him on my way home. Like, if you were just like a buddy, I wouldn't even have called you. It would have been cool.
Right.
But like you're 18, but you're still a kid.
Yeah.
I had to make sure like, yo, you're cool. Like I didn't mean anything by that.
Right.
But like he's like, no, it's cool, coach. Like I was talking a lot of smack right behind you. Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome back to another episode of Training Well Done, your podcast on the what, the why, and the how of quality training. I'm your co-host, Coach Donald.
I'm Coach Tim.
And we are joining you early here in June.
It is warm outside.
It is. That's an understatement. I have to get the AC on my car fixed. I'm not a car guy.
Yeah, no, me neither.
And so yesterday, like over the last week, my AC's not blowing cold air. It's not hot air.
Okay.
It's like lukewarm cold, if that's a thing. It's almost cool. And so we're out, and I'm like, maybe I need to put coolant in the engine.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently that helps with AC. Like, apparently it's not directly tied to the AC performance, but it's indirectly tied to the AC performance. So we're down at Frick Park, and I pop the hood. And I look at the little thing. I haven't popped my hood in months. I go get my oil change. They go do what they do. I go to the dealership. I'm also like, I go to the dealership. I don't have like a guy anymore. Like I do, but I got my car at the dealership. It's almost new, so.
You're better off that way then, yeah.
So I pop the hood and I look, and the reservoir looks like good. Like from the side, the pink part is like at the minimum line, but there's also a color that's in the middle section between min and max, and I can't tell, is it actually optimally full? I take the lid off, I look in, and it looks like it's up high enough. And I didn't get any notification. Like my car has sensors for all this stuff. So I'm like, I'll put some in. So I put some coolant in, a couple gulps, another gulp. I'm like, I think I should stop. It's almost it's almost to the lid where like the little entrance is. I shut the hood, turn the car on. My car is like, the hood's still open. Bro, what are you talking about? I go, I close it like 3 times. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong. So I'm about to drive away. And Leslie's like, is there anything you might have missed? Oh, I know what I missed. I popped the hood. I forgot to put the lid back on.
Yeah. I saw where that was going.
But no.
Did it work?
No, actually, that's not where it's going. Right now, I have a red notification in my dashboard because it's overflowed.
Oh.
So now I need to use some sort of siphoning device to pull coolant out and squirt it somewhere else. Because I don't know what I'm doing.
God,
I'm about to break my car.
I'm laughing because that's 100% like something that I could see myself doing too. Because like you want to try and fix it, right? It seems like something we should know how to do. But then I don't know. You get to a certain point where you're like, okay, I can't mess with this anymore because otherwise I'm gonna mess something else up.
Yeah.
Like I tried to tighten the brakes. Tried to tighten the brakes on my bike because it was like one of them was a little loose. I almost just ruined the brake completely just trying to tighten it. It's bad. Have I told you the lawnmower saga?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, and you weren't in the gym for this. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you the whole story now because it is a long story, but it's very similar in the sense that like my lawnmower couldn't start, so I'm running through the troubleshoots, trying to fix it, this, that, and the other thing. Because I'm like, I can do this. I should know how to fix a lawnmower. Anyway, long story short, this story ends with me still having a broken lawnmower on my hands and knees with my hedge trimmers in the yard, just chopping because the grass got so high. I was like, it's too high. I can't cut it anyway. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! You didn't just go get like a weed whacker, a little push one, so with the blades.
That's part of the story. So the weed whacker had a dead battery. So I'm gonna wind up like replacing the battery on the weed whacker. It's a whole bit, but I got one of the little rotary lawnmowers. Now Chris had one sitting on his porch. He was like, I don't cut my grass. It's all like flowers and stuff. So he gave it to me. So now my yard's cut. But this was like a multi-week process.
Oh my gosh.
Because like think it's an easy fix. It's
Yeah.
not really an easy fix.
I didn't like grow up with stuff to fix.
Right.
And so I never became a fixer. Like I could plug like the red, blue, and white cables into like an old VCR. Like I was good at hooking that stuff up when I was a kid for 2002 technology, but I don't know the new stuff.
I still get scared trying to jumpstart a car. I'm like, I know you this. Yeah, that's right. And then I get too far in my own head and start thinking about it. I'm like, is this right? Am I going to blow up the battery? What like? Because I didn't grow like to your point. I didn't grow up with getting taught that stuff either, which is part of the reason why I want to like do it now.
Yeah.
So then you can.
We should take like a
figure out,
6-month
like-
car class.
Yeah.
Like
right?
I've always said, like I should like spend a bunch of time on YouTube learning about cars because I'm trying to like learn about stuff I don't know anything about. I had like a 6-month stint, probably when I was like 27. Like, am I not a man's man? Because I don't know anything about my car. It was actually during COVID because I had lost one car due to a radiator that I didn't know what to do. I could have just put coolant in there. Speaking of coolant, I put water in there because somebody said that was like a hack. My engine smoked. I had to get scrapped. My next car had like the engine mount. I was in Texas. The engine mounts rusted and the engine was rattling. I don't think I could have done anything about that. I did learn how to change a tire, but like I didn't know anything that was going on under the hood. I didn't have no routine for checking it. I waited till I got a dashboard notification, and I don't know if I got too many of those on a 2004 Accord. And then I had my Jetta, which went okay, but like my timing belt went bad, and it was going bad, and I knew this for like 8 months.
Okay.
And I said, I'm gonna wait until like there's a surge at the gym at the end of the year to go pay for it. It broke in August, and like I didn't understand the severity of what a timing belt issue was. Like I should have got it fixed when they first told me about it the January before that when I went to the dealership, and I was like, oh, like I don't know these things, or like when there's like stuff going on, I don't know what to check for. I just don't.
I don't know. I don't know what a timing belt does.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Even I looked it up.
It does sort of make you feel like some sort of way though. Like I should know this, but like also, like we're really good at other things.
I'm good at other stuff.
Right?
Just it's not the car.
Right.
Don't ask me what that noise is in your car. I have no idea.
And I also like to pride myself in the fact that like I at least know where to stop to avoid making things worse.
Oh yeah, I'm not the idiot that's
Like,
going to try to do something above my pay grade.
Right. I am going to try, and I'm going to try. Like I'm going to teach myself. I'm going to try. I'm going to do the best that I can do, and I will have like learned something along the way. But like with this lawnmower situation, like I'm not taking apart the carburetor. Like I'm just not. That's where I draw the line. That's where I put
carburetor.
That's where I put it. I know. That's I went. So I'm like, all right, crap. I got this broken lawnmower. What do I do with it? I don't just want to like trash it. Like no, you like scrap guys will take it. You put it out on trash day. Scrap metal people will take it. I'm like, all right, great. So like, it's so funny you say that, Coach, because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put it out, but like, I don't want someone to take it if they don't like if it's just like a free lawnmower because it's like it's very broken. So like, I have to put a sign on it that says like free. You can take it, but like know what you're getting yourself into. So I started writing out free busted carburetor. Realized I didn't even know how to spell carburetor. So I just put free. It's broke. I'm writing it out. I'm like, that really doesn't look right. I really don't think that's right. I'm just gonna embarrass myself.
As I'm sounding it out, carburetor. You probably did spell it right.
I feel like it is phonetic, but I don't know. I just wrote it like it's free, but it's broken. Here, take it. And
man.
hey, somebody took it. So,
that's
good
funny.
times. Good story.
A lot has happened. We are about 9 minutes in, so you'll have to stay tuned for the full suite of updates for the kiddo. But since Zenny is now 2.5 weeks, I'm trying to count the days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He's 18 days old. Wow. At the time of we're recording this. By the time y'all see this, he'll almost be a month old.
Feels like a blink and also an eternity, I'm sure.
It's closer to the blink, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it really does feel like the hospital was a while ago. Like we're in this new state of life of like tending to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't feel like it's been going on very long. So there's like it feels still very, very, very new, but it also feels like the labor was a long time ago. It doesn't feel like pregnancy was a long time ago, but now that she's not pregnant, it kind of feels like she never was pregnant.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
said that out loud, and I'm not sure like how to process that.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
curious what you think of when you hear this, Leslie. Although I'll probably tell you I said this later.
Yeah, I'm sure that's like a thing that they've researched or something, like just like the perception of like how that whole like, that big chunk of time just like seems to have never have happened.
Yeah, she didn't mean to an extent. She didn't like. It didn't really feel like she was that pregnant until like halfway through, like until the holidays. But still, no, it does like. Wow, you were like she's like lost all the weight.
Yeah,
She's literally like 4 pounds away from her pre-pregnancy weight,
that's wild.
which is like just wow. I don't understand, but I think a lot of it's just mostly the breastfeeding. Like it takes up so much energy,
Takes a lot. Yeah.
and like all of the fluid is getting out, and I'm sure some of it's being recycled to be used for that.
But mom's doing well.
She's doing great.
Good.
Like she's a rock star. Like I'm almost as or more or somewhere in a relatable spectrum as jazzed about her recovery as I am for like him. Like him being here is like amazing, and it's like the word I've been using is ethereal.
Mm-hmm.
Her recovery though is just like, how is this possible? Like I've met plenty of other people who've had kids, and I've heard 3 times as many stories about having kids as people that I even know, and like I've very rarely heard of a bounce back like this. So she's not like out here working out, y'all. Like she's not doing anything crazy, but just her energy, like how her body has rechanged, incisions healing really well. Like I mean, we'll have to talk about the whole labor thing. Everything that you think or that you knew that we were planning to do for our labor, we're the healthy people. I think somebody called her a crunchy mom one day, a couple months ago. Like all the things that you think and that we would have done for labor are probably true, and it's exactly what our plan was. And it literally happened as upside down, flipped around as possible. It was a very humbling experience of like, you just got to be happy you get a baby that's healthy.
I mean, really, at
You
the
really
end of the
just
day,
got to.
yeah, that's really the miracle. No matter how you get there, like if everybody's healthy, that's the
We
big
really
thing.
thought we were going to just walk in, squirt, and walk out.
Yeah,
And it was not that at all.
yeah. And I mean, it really does give you a really good appreciation of your partner.
Yeah. She's so cool. All right. We have a podcast to talk about.
Yeah.
So last episode we talked about spring race training with
Right.
our adult group. Didn't you have a couple of updates that were after the time we recorded? Didn't some people have races after that?
Oh yeah, I believe you're right. I think we recorded
Or was it like Cleveland or something?
before the Cleveland event. Yeah. Yeah, so we had 2 athletes participate in Cleveland, one in the half marathon, the other in the full marathon. And the speaking of having your game plan, flipped upside down, they got hit with a really, really hot and humid morning, and it wasn't supposed to be like that. The forecast wasn't calling for it all week, but unfortunately they were running in some rough conditions. So the girl running the half didn't hit her goal time. She got zapped by the humidity, and I just said she was struggling to hold pace and get enough fluids in. The gentleman who ran the full, he did PR by 3 minutes, so that's a big win. He was in shape. In cooler conditions, he was in shape for a pretty big PR. We were looking closer to like 10, maybe 12-ish minutes. But a PR is a PR. But they mentioned that I know we had been discussing on the last podcast a lot of like the form work that we do, for adult trackside, and they said like late stages of the race, they just kept going back to all of those form cues and all of
Mm-hmm.
those drills, and like that's what's really helped keep them from becoming completely unraveled,
Mm.
during the course of a rough race. So yeah, not exactly what we were looking for, but some pretty good takeaways regardless.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like I have to do that myself. And like I actually feel like I focus more on my form when I'm tired, when the race or even just the workout gets hard. Is like, all right, I need to like go back and like kind of meditate through like what I need to focus on. Because otherwise, I'm just gonna focus on like the pain and how uncomfortable this is. But if I
Mm-hmm.
can think about my how my legs are hitting the ground and they're cycling and my arms and my breathing and like staying relaxed, like I can just keep that to the front of my brain and kind of cycle through these things. I feel like it allows me to just deal with the discomfort better, but also have better posture for longer during that time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's and this is something that we'll talk about in future episodes, but just having that one central point of focus. Like what is my primary goal right now? Okay, to keep my arm swing sharp and crisp and not let it get loose, right? Like that's all I that's it. Just think about that and good things will happen,
Yeah.
right? So, what's the latest with you? We're doing track season updates.
So let's see, it's the beginning of June. So I guess let's talk about track season. I have a bunch of notes that I just wrote on here. We don't get to all of them. We don't get to all of them. And if any of them turn into like the whole episode, then it just
Fair
does.
enough.
So there's different layers of like me looking at track season. So I coach high school track for those of you who don't know, like at Obama Academy down in East Liberty Highland Park. So this is my 4th season that I just finished. And every year has gotten better and better from the flow and how we do things perspective. Um, then there's also like kids from the gym who do winter trackside with us that we're training throughout the winter, and the kids who are like doing their strength and conditioning with us even throughout the actual season. Things went pretty well. So this year for the school team, so actually let me back up, 'cause I should just say that I had a very ambitious goal this year. And so for context, there's Pennsylvania has the PIAA, and there's different districts. Most of Western Pennsylvania is District 7 in the WPIAL. We in the city, for some reason, are District 8. And I don't know why. There's a reason for it. I don't know that reason. I'm sure I could figure it out, but I don't know. But we're District 8. So like Alderdice, Obama, Perry, Carrick, Kappa, Brashear, Westinghouse, like all of these schools, like that's most of it. I think that might be all of the schools versus like in the WPIAL, there's like 50 schools.
Mm-hmm.
So we have our own district competition that's usually the weekend before WPIALs. And I had a goal that how can people that I'm responsible for win like 80% of the medals? That was like my goal back in the wintertime. In trying to get as many sweeps as possible, basically between the kids on my team and the distance runners and sprinters that we train at Alderdice and a couple kids from a couple of the other schools that we work with. So that was a very big goal. I actually did achieve that one year. It was like my first year at Obama. But I had there was so many kids that there was a lot going on that season. That some of that's in my control, some of it's out. Acceptance is really a thing. Anyways, so it went really well. We were trying to beat Alderdice, but there's some team things that have to change in regards to some of it's team size. Some of it's literally just distance running. Like, this is our best ever season at Obama for distance running.
Okay.
We almost stole a couple of third places in the 8 and the 16, but like we just couldn't do that. Like, there's a variety of reasons that go on that some of it's just training and culture of the school, and some of it is also kind of socio cultural kind of situations. Like all of our distance runners go to SciTech, and if they didn't go to SciTech, they would go to Alderdice, just based on where they live. So there's a lot of those things that are in play, and so Alderdice just has that on lock. So we're trying to like really get our distance runners to like train more seriously, train longer, so that they can like compete better. Because the sprints, we do really well in the sprints, but every team has got one or two good sprinters in Westinghouse. Oh my gosh, they got a bunch.
Really?
They're about as stacked in sprinting as perhaps they're nah, that's an exaggeration. I wouldn't say that they're as stacked in sprinting as Autodice is in distance running, but they have a lot of depth for their boys. A lot of depth. We have the best one, but they have the next several best.
Yeah.
So anyways, so it was pretty good. Like we got a lot of kids. There's kind of a lot of kids did well. There's like some other layers I want to talk through this. Like the kids who were returning, fantastic. Especially the kids who embraced training back in the fall. So like we do a couple of days of indoor training at the school back starting like October. So the kids who started then, they opened, almost all of them opened the season with PRs. And they still were able to get better throughout the year. So that was like really encouraging. A number of kids are going to go run in college. So like Shakur is going to go to Seton Hill. Kennedy and Monet, they're going to go run at Cal or Penn West, it's called now.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Heelan's going to go to, I think it's called Grand Valley. And then there's a couple other people I don't have as top of mind, like where exactly what schools they're going to go to. So kids who like started taking it more seriously the latter couple of years, that like it's cool that they're going to go run in college.
Yeah. Are these? I assume that. Excuse me. You're these kids are able to make a direct correlation between their success or like early season success and the fact that they trained in the fall, right? Like
because
they know now that like that was really where I leveled up.
And most of the other kids who did well that weren't training in the fall started training in January. Now there was a couple kids that popped up that just were more talented than other kids.
Of course, there will be.
And they weren't really in shape at all. They were just faster though. That popped up right in March when the season started. But the kids many of the kids who started in January did really well. And it was very obvious because we had a lot of returners who were cheerleading throughout football and basketball season. And some of them regressed actually, and they all had they had a harder time to an extent getting up to speed than the kids who actually just started in March fresh. Some of it's because they were returners, so they knew what their fitness was at the end of the season before.
That's interesting.
And then cheerleading's just like school cheerleading, not like competitive cheer. Like competitive cheer is a whole beast. If they did that, they might have came back way better. But they were just doing school cheerleading, so they weren't in shape, and they knew how bad a shape they were. They're like, oh my god, this is so hard. Like,
which almost sometimes makes it more, and again, this is like that sports psych conversation, but then you almost get inside your own head about it, right? When you have that benchmark and you're not living up to your benchmark, and then you get all these negative sort of, associations with that, and then it makes it even harder to get back.
Yeah. I think I did a thing, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good being like our distance runners did so well this year. And it wasn't anything that's objectively wow. Like we didn't have anybody yet that can run under a 5-minute mile, but all of the kids got better from last year. Our head coach, I guess technically the other head coach, he's been there for like 15 years or something like that, but he's always usually had a short staff, and he's not a distance guy at all. So this is like our first time having a 4x8 team that could consistently run under 10 minutes. And they've never run under 10 minutes at like the city championship meet. So like it was like a big deal, which is like, for some of you listening, that sounds crazy. Like, what do you mean? That's everybody just running like 220 something, 230. I know, but like it's a thing.
Yeah.
And so like getting kids who we had kids last year, like their PRs, they opened the season at like a 6:30 mile, and now they're running like 5:19, 5:20, and it's like, I mean, that's a big deal for them.
Yeah.
So I mean, whereas like we got kids like Max, he shows up at Autodice. He ran a 4:56 indoors. He didn't even do high school track yet. So that was great. Shakur had a really good season, especially like I think, something that I'm going to have to recap with him later is really in how well he's doing in longer sprints versus like the shorter sprint. We spent a lot of energy on the 100, and he got better. He PR'd in it this year. I don't think it was as dramatic as we all were looking for, like in this like 10-8, 10-7 situation, but he ran 11-1, which is still like he ran significantly faster than last year. But in the 200, He dropped nearly half a second, and he ended up running 22.6, and that ended up being a really good event. But what I think really shifted gears of like, oh, you've got a lot of fitness in there. He has a lot of things that he can still develop. But he ran in the 4x4 at the city championship a 50 flat. Whereas like the whole season, anytime we ran the 400, either relay or not, it was like 54, 55. He ran 50 flat in a very epic showdown. Like,
Yeah, so I already know this story, and I had asked last time, and you were like, no, we'll talk about it next time.
Oh.
I think like this is I don't know, this is one of those like race stories where you just sit and you start getting goosebumps because you like, man, it's wild.
So some to fill out some context. So the city championship I mentioned was our district meet, and Shakur had already won a very dramatic 100-meter dash. The kid from Westinghouse, Shakur beat him out of the initial start. The kid caught him and was visibly in front of him mid-race. Shakur ran him down at the end.
Wow.
And so won, like, it was one of those rundowns that he ended up running like an extra 50 meters around the curve to come back. Because like it's just like this big weight on his chest. The 200, it was a cakewalk for him to do. And our 400, our girls 4x1 was the ugly of the whole story. It was actually one of the most painful things of the whole season. We were a 4-second favorite. And like not just a 4-second favorite because the other teams were slow, even though they weren't fast. We would have done well at states. Like the kids getting faster and having smoother handoffs, there's a chance we could have made the final. We ran a low 50, and the last time we ran that fast in the 4x1s, well, 2 of those girls are in college right now running still. Well, one plays basketball and the other one's still running. That's how good that team was. And I think one of the other people on that team also was going to go run in college. So that's how good this team was. And the last handoff got botched. And it was like a situation where like we thought there was going to be a liability somewhere else on that relay. That part was great. The kids that we thought were going to have a little rough exchange, it was the part that we knew we were in the bag. And I mean, the girl drops it, and she basically runs out and doesn't put her hand high enough.
Okay.
Just knock this leaf down. She doesn't put her hand high enough, so it goes to the ground. And there's being a student of your craft, and then there's just doing an activity because it's really fun and you're good at it. And said kids are not really this particular duo, but we'll say the person that dropped the baton, I wouldn't call a student of the craft yet.
Okay.
And it's not like a knock to her. She just has a bunch of other stuff that she cares about. She's not like watching track all day on YouTube and on Instagram and like watching all the stuff. So she doesn't know to go pick up the baton. Now, as a coaching error, we should have told them, hey, if you ever drop the baton, you should pick it up and go run.
Yeah.
But we also don't coach them to drop the baton.
Right.
And they hadn't had that issue all season. Not only did they not have that issue all season, we haven't had that issue in the last 4 years.
So why would you even put that idea in their heads by saying,
I don't think we've
if it
actually
happens, you do this, you know?
I don't think we've had to drop the baton between the boys and the girls for the 4 seasons I've been there.
Yeah.
And we did a meet 3 weeks ago where we put together a bunch of random 4x1s at a meet to just have fun. And none of those kids dropped the baton. And all 12 of them learned how to do handoffs that afternoon. Like 30 minutes prior, they learned how to do them. None of them dropped the baton. So it's just not a subject of conversation. Girl doesn't know to go pick it up. Me and Coach Carl are running. Go get the baton. But we're like in the middle of the field, so we're trying to go run. The girl from, I think it was Alderdice, doesn't come by for like 5 seconds. So he had all ample time to go get the baton. But like was in the way, so then the girl had to go around. So we got DQ'd actually because the girl had to go around us and all this stuff. So that was the one shoe-in. Shakur had to race. We knew he had a good strong shot in the 200. We knew he had to race the 100. We knew the girls 4x1 was going. So anyways, back to the boys 4x4. So this happens. There's the boys 400. Henry does a great job. He PRs. I told Henry, like, hey, you better win this race because there's some random kid that showed up on his team who's like really talented. And they were racing, and Henry ran the race of his life, but couldn't pull it out the end. Zion was in that race. He like was out for a while. He had like a sprained ankle or something, so he was out for like 2 to 3 weeks. Finally got back in the mix. He showed up well. I think he got like third or fourth in that race.
Oh, good for him. I
Henry
didn't
got
know
second. And so my kid, Jaden, who is
that. Yeah.
now at the
Okay.
gym,
Yeah.
I was like, look, Henry's the guy. You got to get him. And you have to get him because you have to go out first. He's an 800 guy. He runs cross country. He's not going to slow down very much at the end. But you have a faster 200-meter PR. You better get to the 200 before he does. To his credit, he takes off. But it was also an uphill climb. My kid's PR was like 55 in the open. Henry's PR was like 53 at the time. So, like, he would have had to outrun Henry in a significant situation. But, like, we painted a very intense emotional situation to start the day off of, like, you know, I can't even say what to some extent what we were saying. They're like, yo, you got to go out there and you got to rip a throat out. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Like, go out there and race. And like the distance runners, oh my God, everybody raced so hard. And so the kid, he's going, and because he was like in the lead-ish through 200, through 250, I think he was tied, but about 350 in, like the last 50, he just tied up. I know I already said who you are. You're on the podcast, but we all saw it. He was ugly crying. I mean, he was like wailing, like, remember Bob Marley and the Wailers, like wailing, right? So that all happens, and it's the end of and the girls. We thought the girls had a good chance. They did not. So that didn't work out. So it's the last race, and Shakur's the only one in our district. You have to win the event to go to states, unless you run the state qualifying time. In second place.
Okay.
So Shakur is the only person on our team to outright win an event in the 1 and the 2. So it was like somebody else has to go because we thought the girls were going to go.
Right. And so now this is like the main event. This is it.
This is it. Autodice ran their 4x4 fastest to slowest. But like when I say slowest, their last person was the kid that won the 800. He ran like 2 flat. So like not a slow kid at all. The first person was the guy who won the 400. And then Henry was second. And then they had, I forget who went third, but they had another good. The third place guy, I think, got third place in the open 400. And then they had the guy who won the 800 go last.
So they're stacked.
It was stacked. Like all of their PRs were faster than all of our kids' PRs. So it wasn't like they're slow. Their slowest was still better than our fastest PR, which was Shakur's like 54. So boom, gun goes off. Our first kid, Khalid, he's like a 10th grader. He went to the JV meet. He ran like 57, 56 in the 4x4. He's like, coach, like I like the 400. I want to do it. And he's one of our better 300 hurdlers. So we're like, all right, we'll let him go run. We'll let him go do the 4x4 because one of the other kids wasn't there. I was expecting him to go like 55. Kid goes around. He beats the kid who won the 400. Beats him. He ran 53. So my kid ran 53 and gets the handoff first against the kid who won the open 400.
Yeah.
Now that kid ran like 54 because his legs were probably still tired. I'm not surprised, but still, he got him.
But still, yeah.
And like my kid ran just as many events. So
and when you're not digging yourself out of a hole right off the bat, that's got to be like, we might be in this.
So my second guy, Chris, takes off. He's been super consistent. He runs a 55 or a 56, I think it's 56 every single time. So we knew what it was in for, but he was racing Henry was also like just ran the 4, but he also ran the 8. He said his legs were super tight up there in the 8, but he ran a pretty respectable 4. I think Henry ran like 54 in the 4. Henry passed my kid. So they're like going around. Henry just kind of sitting behind him. And then he said he got on the straightaway. He's like, I'm going to eat this kid. So he just goes, flies. Henry gets the baton off first.
Okay.
And in the 4x4, when you get the handoff, let's say you get 2 steps on somebody, your tired 2 steps quickly translate into a massive lead once you give the baton off to somebody who's fresh legs. Because now the fresh legs are leaving and the tired person just getting more tired coming in. So Henry gets the baton off to whoever was third, and they take off around the curve. Jaden gets the baton. Boom, he goes out. And I can't say he really closes the gap, but he holds the gap. I think they both ran like 54 or 55 or something like that coming around. So now their 800 runner gets the baton first, and then Shakur gets the baton. And just for context of for listening, how big the space is, it'd probably be about 10 to 15 yards.
Okay.
That of a lead that the other kid had.
Yeah. That's
going
significant.
Out. Shakur takes off, and they're running around. Now there's 2 things that happen once they get to the 200. The other kid from Dice goes through. Shakur comes through about 2 seconds behind, 1 or 2 seconds behind. Leslie tells me in the stands, a bunch of the like Obama parents had left apparently because they were like, "Oh, we're not going to win the 4x4. We haven't beat Old in the 4x4. And I don't know how long, because like we just haven't. I'm not going to give
Yeah.
excuses. They just have." And then Henry's behind me, and Henry's running his mouth. He's like, "Oh, this race is over. Shakur's just a 200-meter runner. He's not going to keep up with Aaron." Kids come around. They get to the 100. The gap starts shortening. Shakur's starting to close in. They get to 50, and Shakur's just taking off. Now I'm at the finish line, so I can see him. Like, the footsteps look closer, but I have a horrible angle for this.
Yeah.
And then about 60 or 70 meters in, Shakur passes him. I mean, the whole crowd gets up as he gets closer. So I look up, and I see everybody in the stands getting up. I'm like, oh, my God, he's passing him. He passes him and flies through the finish line. And I look at Henry, and again, I can't even repeat what I said to him on the podcast, but more or less, I was like, "Who's a 200-meter runner now?" I was, it was intense enough that I called him on my way home. Like, if you were just like a buddy, I wouldn't even have called you. It would have been cool.
Right.
But like you're 18, but you're still a kid.
Yeah.
I had to make sure like, yo, you're cool. Like, I didn't mean anything by that.
Right.
But like, he's like, no, it's cool, coach. Like, I was talking a lot of smack right behind you.
Man, I got chills, man.
Flies
That's
through there.
Awesome.
The whole team just comes flooding onto the field after that to like hug him and do all this because he ran 50 point. The last person that ran that fast in the City League was actually Will 2. He ran an open 51 like 2 years ago. But like nobody's run that fast in the city in the 400 in a long time. And I mean, that was a split, but it was 50.4.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my gosh, like you had that in you?
Yeah.
It was one of the best moments of my coaching career.
That's so neat. I just pictured like the team just like storming the court. Right?
It's like it's like a college football game when the team wins at the end, but like obviously not the same scale.
Man, what a story! What a story! And congrats, Shakur.
Yeah. So
Does what is he? I mean, I assume he's focusing on like the 1 and the 2 in college, but like, is there a natural progression for someone like him when they make that jump?
I don't know.
To the
That's
collegiate level?
something that I haven't really had like a serious sit down conversation with him because I ended up not going to States because Sinzeni was born a couple days before, so I've been kind of in baby mode.
Yeah.
So I haven't done a lot of like sit down reviews for the season with too many people, and he's also been resting. He had prom just like a couple days ago. Graduation's coming up, so he's also been like chilling. So we'll recap, but that's something I do want to talk to him about. Of like you obviously will break 11 seconds and go run 10.9, 10.8, but like you're running 50 point 22.6 is suggesting that perhaps you should explore being a 2.4 runner, at least for a time. And as your kind of fitness still grows, maybe coming back to the 1, but it might be good to practice some of that because there's a lot of meat on the bone, I think, in those events. Yeah. Now, if he were to go out and run right now, he might only run 52 because some of it is learning how to run a 4. He probably split 23 seconds on the first 200. He is a mental barrier to understand how to run that fast on the first 200 and trust that you still have energy on the back end. But it's something I want to talk to him about.
And also the context, too,
yeah,
right?
Context.
Like, and again, this is like foreshadowing for episodes down the road, but like, it's amazing what you can, what your body can do when you have that incentive, right?
Yeah, and he runs really well when it's on the line.
Yeah,
and like the district meet is like the big thing. And as much as we're trying to like get the kids to like think about doing this at States, because between our school and even Autodice, like the kids generally underperform at States. Sometimes like if we've had years where we've had a really stud athlete who can like do well there, and like our relay, like our 4x1s have generally done well there as in like most of the City League kids are like in the bottom 4 places in like nearly every event, and more than half of them probably get last at States. It's annoying. But the relays, like especially like the 4x1, they'll do well as in like they'll be up 10 places. We've had a year where like they were more middle. And, you know, actually one of the kids, Reeve, he's not a GHP kid, but he just ran exceptionally well. He ran really well at States. But, you know, trying to get them to think about pulling those performances out then. because usually their PRs are set at the district meet, and they're not doing that at the state meet. But the emotions aren't as high. Like there's a making it to states
Yeah,
is the big
yeah, is
thing
the thing.
versus like how do you walk the season believing you can medal at states and like having that type of emotional output there. But it's different at the district meet. Like all their friends and family are in the crowd. Their friends' parents are there.
Hmm.
Like it's a very big community event. Whereas states, you don't know anybody. So I think it lacks the emotional presence if you're not like a almost national level competitor.
Yeah, it just matters less, and so you don't perform at your best.
Yeah, honestly, I
I
think
mean,
that's the thing.
that's
It
it.
doesn't matter as much in
Yeah.
a way. And it's weird to say that, but like
Yeah.
the goal is for a lot of people to go, and it just doesn't carry the same weight.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to. I'm trying to figure out how to change that.
Yeah. I wonder if part of it, and we don't need to unpack this now, but like, I wonder if maybe that's more of just like a cultural thing that will take time to cultivate. Like,
Yeah.
start talking about states early in the season,
I mean, I look at
do that season over season. It's just like,
and we
but
bring it
that's
up.
that's
but
that's
it's-
like a program growth sort of thing.
and it's tough because there's a lot of kids who are new to the sport. There's a lot of kids who are. It's tough to think about that for some because like I use the metric of you need to get medals at invitationals. And if you get medals at invitationals, you have a stronger chance of even being able to go because you still have to win at the city meet to go, and like being on that level to go. So there's like the different social validation, like we race against the same kids, but even the Whitfield kids have not been doing that great.
Yeah.
Like I look at the results, and in a lot of events, the Whitfield kids, especially in the non-distance events, like basically in the sprints, and I'm not looking at the jumps. I don't know about all the jumps and throws. Like I don't look at those results. Talk about the running events. Like they're not these kids from like from Hershey area, from Harrisburg, like Central Bucks and like the Philadelphia area. I mean, they run that
Oh yeah.
meet.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And it also doesn't make sense to like really start harping on one thing if you're not getting the buy-in anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
like
this is starting to
get
push,
them to care about stuff that can actually
yeah. It's starting
that's tangible.
to push me back into that club conversation though, because of the kids in the Whippeal and in the City League who do exceptionally well. A lot of those kids are like club kids when they were younger. Like the Yars of the world.
Yeah.
Like, she's gonna be the type of kid that goes
Yeah.
up and does well.
Yeah.
Some of the cross country kids, like I mean, the entire Autodice pipeline that we have was built 8 years ago, 10 years ago, when all the kids on my club team ended up going to Autodice. But they were studs. I mean, they have the school record in the 4x8. All of those guys went to go run in college, like the Holden Jack left,
Okay.
and
Yep.
Owen, Isaiah, like that whole crew. Owen didn't do club track. Will did club track. Like Marcel, like all these. Well, she doesn't go to Autodice, but like that's like a thing. So
Yeah. It's funny, those names that you just mentioned, like obviously I'm familiar with a lot of those names, but they preceded my time at GHP, but Shakur is going to be fun to watch his progression as an athlete because like I have gotten to know him and been involved in his training, over the past almost 2 years. And so it'll be neat to see. That's why I was asking like what, what do you expect from him? Cause I'm really excited to see where he takes things from here.
he focuses, he puts in work, and there's a kid up there, JC, who I cut the coach for 1 year, his freshman year of high school when I used to be at Woodland Hills. He was a guy that Tavon used to work with a lot. And this kid, coming out of high school, I think around like 51, 52, he was like a 23 second 200 meter runner, like a solid athlete, but not a stud coming out of high school.
Okay.
This kid just finished his junior year. He ran 46 something in the 400. He can run like 10.7, and he runs like 21 something in the 200. He went to NCAA's and did well at, I forget what he placed in the 400 for NCAA D2s, but he won his seed. He won his first round out to the
Okay.
next round. I don't know how he did after that, like off the top of my head, but like complete stud. And I mean, this is a kid who I think it was PR coming out of high school was like 11.3 in the 100 because he was a 400 guy and was running like 10.7, 10.8. and like Shakur gets to train with that kid, and he trains really seriously. Fun guy. Like I'm looking forward to seeing them be
That's
able to work
cool.
together. And like Shakur was a kid who's I was looking at his old times. His best electronic time from the one invitational he got to run the 100. I was like 12. I think it was like 12-2, 12-1. He's running 11-1. And like he was running like 25 in the 200, and he ran 22.6.
Yeah.
So that progression year over year, couldn't even break a minute in the 400 back then.
And here we are now.
So let's see. I want to get through some other highlights here. I know we spent a lot of time there. We talked about Henry, who had a great season. He ran some great PRs. It was great to see, the winter trackside kids. So like the Ginsberg brothers, they ran well. Some things I'll talk to you about off camera, but one of them had a little health issue and still ran like a 15-second PR.
Okay.
And I was like, off of a situation that could have ended the whole season, which was like super impressive. Lena getting better, and she ended up running the 4 and just trying to stay healthy, but she had an amazing rowing season. Oh my gosh. But what I'll say is, like, if I were to highlight 3 athletes from GHP who did like just really, really well, we already talked about Shakur. Max, who went from, like, in cross country season, he didn't even get to do the varsity race because they were that stacked, and he just wasn't good enough. I mean, and he didn't run a slow time. He ran like 17:50, I think, or 17:40 in his cross country 5K. So definitely no slouch. To like being the second best like distance runner on his team. He ran 4:42. He's trying to like run down Reeve all season. He had an amazing season. He ran 10:10 in the 2 mile, and like it's just really well poised. And you've heard of this, their sophomore, who I keep mentioning. He's like been this super stud because he came in as a freshman and was running times that a lot of kids don't run until their juniors, senior year. So Max has been basically trying to beat all of his freshman records to like be on that path to try to get him. So he had a great season.
He's hungry.
Oh yeah, like there's like I talk to like my kids. I don't get for my school team into too much detail about what I do at the gym and all that. Because like for them, like we just need to be focused on like getting in shape for this right now.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I talk about, and I mean the other coaches talk about, is the standard of being the type of kid who I have to tell you to do less. It just comes with the territory of coaching high school track that you got to push kids.
Yeah.
But like, I don't feel like doing that all the time. Like it's not much more enriching, but also riskier to have a kid who you have to pull the reins back from. Like I haven't had a kid. I mean, with this level of early show of talent and this level of tenacity, at least that's so visible since Patrick probably. Like this is that type of, I think, emotional profile.
Wow.
Don't get me wrong. The other kids we've had, like they're very focused and into it, and they learn and study. There's just a level of tenacity of like, oh no, like I almost have to grab Max by his neck.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Because like he'll do too much. If you told Max to run 100 miles a week, he's gonna run 100 miles a week. I think he's about to start getting the books and trying to learn all this stuff. Like we did a goal review meeting last week. We were whiteboarding for an hour about, like I was trying to help him with setting up his mileage and how to balance doing like his school stuff, and he wants to do some extra stuff, and he wants to try to work in some stuff with us. And I'm trying to like get him to understand. He's like, I want to run like, I think it was like 55 miles a week. He pulled that number out of his rear end.
Okay.
And so like trying to help, like, all right, here's probably a better number to get to, and here's how you can handle peaking this, but you don't need to worry about just trying to peak the mileage. I trying to help him frame what the mileage means, because he's like, yeah, well, he has all these cliches. Mileage is king.
Right.
Not exactly. Like the mileage does set, to an extent how much work you can do on your training days, because you can't let those be too much, and you need to be in shape enough to handle those and recover. But like, don't get caught up in just trying to get like these crazy runs, because he opened winter trackside. He went on a 10-mile run. Then his knee hurt him for the next 6 weeks. And I'm like, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Why would you randomly go for a 10-mile run?
Yeah. It's like you said, tenacity is a really good word choice, first and foremost. I remember during some winter trackside sessions, like trying to like, hey, like we're looking for even splits here. Like you maybe don't try and outkick everybody on the first 2 intervals.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. He's raw. He would just like hang in there. The he ran the dragon race and did well. I don't remember his time, but he did well and he pushed himself and he like raced the race. And then a little bit, later on, we're bopping around the event and I see Max get up, put on his sunglasses and go do his like cool down
Mm-hmm.
on the track when everybody else is just hanging out, right? It's a fun race, it's a community event. They race the race, they're done. Nope. He made sure he got his cool down miles in.
So he had an amazing season. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does for cross because I think he could have a. I think
Yeah.
he's gonna have a stud career. He just have to
Yeah.
stay healthy, because we have another kid who I'm still trying to figure out what happened there. Me and his parent were talking about that, and I don't know if it was a nutrition issue. He was doing some extra stuff that I gave him all like, here, do this. He did his own thing, which was fine, but I don't know if combination of either what he did there, nutrition, or if like me trying to accommodate for running the 32 actually maybe
Mm.
backfired because they did a little bit more. Now the other boy was fine, but he wasn't. I don't think the other kid was doing as much running on the non-track side days as he was. So trying to weigh out like, is that what caused that?
Well, that's why context is so important, and like you got to applaud these kids for like being advocates and for themselves and wanting to learn.
Mhm.
But a lot of times, like they might know just like the maxim, right? Like you just mentioned, mileage is king or
Mhm.
mileage is everything. And like yes, but and like
Yeah.
it's our job as coaches to provide the context and sort of frame those maxims in ways that make sense.
Mhm.
And even that differs from athlete to athlete. One could wind up hurt while the other one's perfectly healthy. And,
Yeah.
So
Henry did really well. He missed a lot of workouts, just getting sick, random stuff, and that other cliche of it's better to be undertrained than overtrained.
yeah,
So Henry was a little less, and like he was in great shape going in. Don't get me wrong, but like he didn't hit everything, but he was really healthy.
right.
And there's almost this expectation like some people don't hit everything. Now the kid we're talking about, I mean, he had reasons to be able to turn down, and it's just trying to figure out why. And so one of the things that I even think about is even for next year is I don't. I think as a precaution, I don't think I want to do anything special for the 3,200 kids far as workouts go,
Mm.
and just letting it be, hey, look, this is going to be the like 1,600-meter workout that we're going to do for indoor track and getting ready to be in shape for outdoor. Because I just don't want to like go to that. Now that might not be why, but it's just something else to consider. I've never had a like. So just for the audience listening, we had a kid that did have a stress fracture that happened
Yeah.
in the winter who didn't get to run this season. Who had we've been talking about these other kids. He had an even better season in store, but some combination of doing too much or not recovering well enough led to him not being able to compete. He's still going to go to college and run, but trying to figure out like what led to that. What could I have done differently? I've never had a stress fracture happen in that kind of situation.
In that context, it's these are the things that like we explore. Like, well, we were talking about last episode. Like, these are kind of the things that keep us up at night.
Yes.
But
I lost some sleep over that.
but also, we grow and get better as a function of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third kid I want to highlight, Taylor Ham, or she goes by Lori also. The biggest turnaround season out of anybody that we've talked about. This kid was she's about your height.
Yep.
Um,
She's tall.
very tenacious type of kid. We met in the summer. She came to Summer Trackside, so she's been basically coming to train summer, fall, winter. Some level of on and offness, but mostly consistent. Last year, they moved to Pittsburgh, non-factor in like competitively, running like 15-second 100-meter dash. Which, if any of you listening, 15-second 100, I could do that backwards. Was running like 32 into 200. My workout yesterday was 31s. Couldn't even run 400. Probably was like 120 something, 130 into 400. So we spent the summer like working on form. A lot of it was like hip flexor strength, being able to cycle and like just getting strong enough to like go. This kid, first of all, ran pretty well indoor. She came to I think one indoor meet. And did she come to an indoor meet? I think she ran a PR in an indoor meet. It wasn't anything outrageous though. It was like around 30 seconds, 29 seconds. But we get to the season, the opening of the season in March. She ran like 13.7, and then the next, a couple weeks later, ran 13.3. I think she PR'd 13.2 or 13.3 for the season. She ran 28 in the 200, so she dropped 2 seconds in the 100.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody listening, for you need a visual for 2 seconds in the 100, it's like running a 100 but you cover 16-ish meters faster. Like, or how do I say this again? Somebody running in 13 and a half seconds versus somebody running 15 and a half seconds is about 15 meters, or like we can call it 15% of the race, which is dramatic.
It's significant, yeah.
You look at that and you're like, it's not, it's obvious who's winning that the first 2 steps out of the start. And then she ran like 4 seconds faster in the 200. And then she ended up running like 108 in the 100. I mean, not in the 100, in the 400, and was on the Dice 4x4 that ended up getting to go to States. She was a kid that wasn't on any relays. She was basically the stud of the team other than Cena as far as the girls go, and the hurdler. And so like she went from being a non-factor to a star. And she was up there in the finals for the 100 with the girls. They had this girl from Westinghouse. I thought my kids. I thought I had a 1, 2, 3 sweep. We had the second, third, and fourth fastest time going in. This girl moved from Virginia to go to school at Westinghouse out of nowhere. She was running like 12.5. Our girl ended up getting down to 12.9, and that was a kid that was running like 13.6 last year. Like shout out to Kennedy. I think her PR last year was like 13.4. She ended up getting down to 12.9, but 12.5 was so far away. But I thought we had a 1, 2, 3 sweep. But like Lori was not somebody who was in the final. She didn't get to compete at the city championship last year because she just wasn't fast enough. And she ran 4 events, and she medaled in every event. And like it was just an amazing turnaround.
What a story. I haven't seen her run recently, and I'd be curious to like just knowing what she looked like, last summer and doing all of that work on getting those legs. I mean, because she can cover a lot of ground, right, with those long legs. But I remember them being super, super slow to get through the cycle.
Some of it was turnover, which we worked a lot on in the wintertime, was the turnover. But a lot of it was also strength. Like, you have to have a lot of per your body weight strength. And when you're really long, like, people say, like, long legs are an advantage. They're only an advantage if you're strong. Because if you're not strong, you're going to take the same size steps as somebody who's, like, 5'3", because you have to have enough power through the ground to propel yourself and enough like hip flexor and glute strength. Can you lift your leg up to actually drop the hammer, right? So you get a tall kid and they kind of shuffle through their stride. So she would shuffle. Now her shuffle was back then about as big as my stride might be if I was just going on a run.
Yeah.
Versus now, like her stride's way bigger than mine, or like it's about as big as maybe. I think when I would do the wickets, she was doing wickets with, I think, Shakur eventually. Like, I had to, like, get her to be strong enough to handle that. And then, so that's one of the biggest things. Some of it's posture, like, sitting back. So when you're long and you kind of cycle in front, you kind of, like, sit back. So getting her to be able to stay forward in the sprint, being able to use the arms enough. And then also just having enough fitness to, like, do all of that. So some of it was also building up the fitness so that she could just handle training enough.
That's neat. Is she excited?
Oh,
I mean, I'm sure she's thrilled about this season, but like, is she excited about the possibilities moving forward? So having point A and point B be like light years apart.
We had a conversation last week. So her and Max are only 2 kids out of league, and Henry I got to sit down with so far. And for her, she's thinking about states. She's like, I want to win all the sprint events next year.
Mm-hmm.
So if any of my kids on my high school team are listening to this, like, she wants to win all the sprint events next year. So like we got to step it up, right? And that's even for Cena. Like she wants. She doesn't mention that, but like Cena's used to being the girl stud on the team ever since Kate graduated, but like she wants to win all the sprint events and like go to states. And like she's like she went up to states and she's like she was telling me they are so fast. But some people see that and they get scared.
Right.
She's like, they're so fast. I can do that. She's like, they're so fast. I can be that. I want to be on the podium.
That's the first step, right?
And she's only going to be a junior.
That's the first step.
So,
you gotta know that you have that potential.
And that's very different. I guess talking about some of these other episodes, we're going to talk about tenacity wise of I want to be on the podium. There's a difference, and I just have to respect that. Like, some of that comes from inside, and I can inspire some of it, but it is different when a kid goes up there and says, I want to be on that podium versus me saying you could be on that podium.
Yeah.
Now, me saying you could be on that podium is powerful, but you saying that is a whole different situation.
Well, and she took it a step further, too, because she didn't just like arbitrarily say, I want to be on that podium, but by saying, I can be that fast, she knows what it takes to be able to get onto that podium too. So it makes it a lot more concrete and less abstract.
Yeah. And now one of those things where the advantage of being tall comes into play, the upside is higher if you can pull it off. Although it's hard to say that what's the peak height for like a women's 100, 200 meter sprinter, but in the 100, it's like on the shorter side. But in the 2 and the 400, like she's probably in like the sweet spot as far as like upside goes, just from physical talent and anthropometrics go. So like,
oh, cool.
I'm curious.
Another fun journey to watch.
Yeah. Wow, there's so much I did not talk about. Kind of some parting thoughts though. One of the big things that I've been wrestling with through all of this, we talked about this.
We did.
The long to short versus the short to long approach to sprinting has been a wrestle. I'm still wrestling with it. It's something I've been experimenting with during trackside right now. Something I might even crash the party of some of the people for Summer Trackside who are coming to the speed days, and we might shuffle it around a little bit. But one of the things that I've been a short to long person for a long time. When I was in high school, everybody did the long to short approach. A lot of people, like, it's like in my head, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's like basic almost. Like, of course, everybody does long to short. We're going to do short to long. But what I've had to come to respect, and one of my current thought processes is short to long works well under a certain set of circumstances. One, the athlete is pretty fit. Not like amazingly race fit, but they're pretty fit. And they are also good enough for that approach. So there's also a talent level. Short to long, I'm just coming to appreciate, and this might be really basic for other people listening, but it just doesn't really work for kids who are both out of shape and not fast. If you are fast and not in shape, it can work.
Sure.
If you are in really good shape and you're not fast, it's probably ideal. I think it is ideal,
probably,
actually.
Yeah.
But if you are in the other square, it's not ideal. And so I've been trying that for a while. And it does work. Like, kids do get faster, especially in the short sprints. But the issue comes really in the macro of being an athlete and letting the kids be fit enough to do some of the harder stuff. Because then we would end up stuck just doing flies and hills, and we could get into some harder stuff later, but it would be so late in the season before we could really do any serious speed endurance work because, like, hey, they need to get faster, but I didn't respect how basic they were. Like, for GHP, the kids that we get, field like soccer player, lacrosse player, track sprinter, football player, they're usually fit. And if they're not fit when they come in, we're in the weight room twice a week and they're coming to trackside. So they get the fitness through the weight room from 2-hour-long sessions that are small and focused versus trying to teach 15 kids how to do something in a crammed weight room. It's a very different experience. And over a short period of time. So let's say, like, pick any of the kids that train with us over the winter and the summer. We've had kids that are there for 9 months. So there's all this fitness they get. Let's take Shakur, actually. It's a perfect example of a kid who like really needed to get some fitness. Like we did a lot of short stuff, but him coming to work out in the weight room, and we kind of built from a muscle endurance standpoint and really built up to doing a lot more power stuff as he got better. He gained a lot just by getting fitter. And then it made his body like more receptive to the speed work. He could handle it more, and it caused his body less stress to do like the wickets, the flies, the plyos, the ins and outs. Like that stuff causes a lot of mechanical stress. And if your muscles and tendons and ligaments just aren't able to handle the load of that, they'll break, or you won't be able to do it very well. And that was something that me and some of my staff coaches kind of got into it seriously about, but it was something that I lost the audience in that regard, because while the kids were running really well in the 100 and to an extent in the 200, the kids who were in better shape, basically the returners, made more progress in the 200. And sure, they made all progress in the 100, but the 400 was lacking. And I've had this mantra that I've had to learn to part ways with. I felt like there are people who are good at coaching the 400 because they are actually tactically good at coaching the 400. There's a bunch of coaches who say they're good at coaching the 400 because all they're doing is getting kids in shape. That doesn't mean you're good at coaching the 400. It means the kids are just less out of shape. I think I kind of overdid that thought process to where like I'm going to show how good I am at coaching, especially from a mechanical and physiological standpoint at the sprints. I'm going to make people faster because it's harder to make somebody faster than it is to be fitter. And so I'm focused on making people faster.
That's a takeaway right there. Where's our timestamp?
Yeah, we're at 105. So like 106. So like I focus on making people faster, and I kind of left out the fitness part. Like, listen, not like anything egregious or anything like that, but most people might start the season, they're running 10 200s. I wouldn't dare do a workout like that until like a month or two in. And like I might not even do a workout like that because like what's that doing for the race? We need to focus on something else. But I'm kind of walking that back and just respecting some of these kids struggle running the 2-lap warm-up. We can have a separate conversation if you should be running a 2-lap warm-up as a sprinter in the first place. I'm sure there's plenty of people who say that's not necessary. Shakur probably does not need to run a 2-lap warm-up as a sprinter. He doesn't need to do that. Is it okay? I think it's fine. There's plenty of coaches that will argue that it's not fine and you need to focus on being springy. But for kids whose track is their first sport and they're 15 years old, we should be focusing on a lot more density work. And from a behavioral standpoint, which is a whole thing I didn't touch, I think I'm at a point now, I'm just going to run kids off the team. If it's not that serious, I just want you to run. And this might not sound like kosher. This might be toxic. I want you to run until you throw up and decide to quit. Because then I'm stuck with the people who are very focused.
I mean, yeah.
And like, obviously we're not going to do that 5 days a week. Like I'm too smart for that. I'm not going to let that happen. But you know what? I think everybody else, the other 3 coaches, won the argument of, no, we're going to do more long and short. We're going to start the bat really hard because we made an intentional choice that I did lead the charge on of we want to focus a lot on technical mastery. We want the kids to be good at running well. So we did a lot of short runs, and we do a high density of them. It's not like we did like 5, 10 runs and be out. We would do maybe 15, 20, 50-meter runs. I would make them do drills for like 50 meters. We would do a lot of volume, but it was through like these short, dense bouts, which in my head makes a lot more sense, but I don't think it was causing the fitness adaptation that I really wanted. And it tended to end up being faster than it was supposed to be, which then would cap the kids who needed the fitness the most could not handle doing a lot of short reps, even if they weren't maximal. And I'm like, I don't want to have them burning a bunch of 300s because then they're going to be flat-footed and running on their heels and all that. But they would be running at slower speeds. And quite frankly, maybe that's what they need to do to get their fitness up so we can work on the technical stuff. And I just got to accept I have 10 weeks for track season. And I have kids who have never worked out before, haven't worked out since last track season, or have only been working out twice a week for our school practices, which is cool, better than nothing. But we just talked about kids who worked out 5 days a week.
Right.
They're not even on the same scope.
Right.
And maybe I should spend the first 5 or 6 weeks just running a bunch, and then we can spend the last month getting fast, and just accept that that model is, people do that because it works for a reason.
Yeah, I was thinking about this after our last conversation. As we do, because then I start thinking, wait, did what I say make sense? Is that the right way to go? You go back and forth. And what I ultimately walked away from is that, like, we've spent so much time on this podcast talking about how, like, everything is important, right? And your best athlete is your most comprehensively developed athlete up until a certain point at that very, very pointy end. So where are the glaring gaps, and how can we close those gaps?
Yeah.
Right, is the most simple way to put it. Because it's the inverse with the adult population, right? I get people for the race training program that are fit and healthy, and they've been running, but their arm swing looks like crap. So the inverse then for us becomes the lowest hanging fruit, right? But like you said, if that's where the biggest void is for these kids, is to just, like, get fit first, that's the approach you got to take.
Yeah, that's real. So if any of y'all listen to the show, just know that that's what it's hitting for in October.
You've wrestled with this, Coach, I can tell. Yeah,
so this will be more to come. Hey, thank you all for listening to this episode or recapping track season. This is going to get released on the first day of Summer Trackside. There are probably only going to be a few spots left because we're already at like 60, 65% capacity. And there's about another 20% of those spots are already claimed by people that need to finish their signups during this week that we're recording it, which is June 8th. So if you are listening to this and you're like, maybe my kid or I should come and train, you should reach out expeditiously very soon, because the field, we're probably not going to offer any more field sport and soccer spots anyways. But if you're a cross-country track person, there should be a few spots left next week or this week. So please reach out, www.ghperformance.com. You're going to see Summer Trackside right at the top. It is our comprehensive summer 10-week training where we have 4 days a week. We're at the track at Shenley Oval training. We have field sport training specific group. We have a sprint training specific group and a cross-country preparation specific group that we work through. We get 2 days of lifting. Some kids are busy, demanding schedules. They come to 2 runs a week and that's it. And we have other kids who want to have the big turnarounds, like the people that we're talking about, that are coming 4 days a week for the running and 2 days to lift. So if that sounds like something that's going to be ideal for you, your teammate, your kid, family member, reach out to us. Let's get you a spot. We start June 15th. We will take enrollment until we fill through the 4th of July. Anything else, Coach?
No, that's it. I'm excited to kick off Trackside.
I am too. This is the big kahuna of the year, so got some more work to do to get ready. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.